Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Advanced Israelite Women's Bible Study class for 14th of April, 2022. What I'll be dealing with, I'll be reading out of the Bible and out of the book of Joshua for the lesson, and it'll be I'll read Song of Moses, and I'm gonna read the Song of Joshua. And, go in on them, break them down. Just later on in the class. So I'm asking everybody to like and share and subscribe to Prophets of Awakening, our channel, and hit the notification button, please. And this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. The Tanakh is the Old Testament, the so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai by the Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome everyone to Prophets of Awakening channel, and welcome to our Advanced Women's Bible Study. Okay, we're going to do our moment of silence and our prayer, our psalms, and then we do a little current events, some need to know information, a little Q&A. Then we'll go into the lesson, the reading for the night. Okay, so this moment of silence is for the Creator and the Lord of Hosts and all that they're doing to bring about our captivity. Oh Lord, we come this day praising thee and worshiping thee for thy might and thy power and thy great understanding. Oh Lord, the end times that you have foretold unto our forefathers are upon us. Oh Lord, we give you strength, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that thou hast foretold. Give us, O Lord, the knowledge to rightly divide thy word, that they are delivered in righteousness and truth. There is great confusion among your inheritance, O Lord, now that you are awakening us. For I know, O Lord, that your hand is sure and that your hand is firm. And we need you so very much in these latter days. We will tarry and depend upon you, O Lord, because there is none else besides you, O Lord. You are our deliverer and our redeemer. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna read a psalm, and then we'll go into our women's health. Okay. Let me get this psalm real quick. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna read Psalm 7. It's a plea for protection for my enemies. O Lord, my God, in thee do I put my trust. Save me from all them that persecute me and deliver me, lest he tear my soul like a lion, rending it in pieces, while there is none to deliver. O Lord, my God, if I have done this, if there be iniquity in my hands, if I have rewarded evil unto him that was at peace with me, yea, I have delivered him that thou cause is mine enemy. Let the enemy persecute my soul and take it, yea, let him tread down my life upon the earth and lay mine honor in the dust. Selah. Arise, O Lord, in thine anger, lift up thyself because of the rage of mine enemies, and awake for me to the judgment that thou hast commanded. So shall the congregation of the people compass thee about, for their sake, therefore return thou on high. The Lord shall judge the people. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness and according to mine integrity that is in me. O let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous God trieth the hearts and the reins. My defense is of God, which saveth the upright in heart. God judges the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he with his sword, he hath bent his bow and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity, and have conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. He made a pit and digged it, and it is fallen into the ditch which he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealings shall come down upon his own plate. I will praise the Lord according to his righteousness, and I will sing praise to the name of the Lord, the Most High. And that was Psalms 7. It's a plea for protection from our enemies. Any comments on that?
We see over and over again, David does not turn to anyone else for help, support, or anything. It's always the Lord that he puts his trust in.
Right,
Yeah,
right. He ain't like got tunnel vision on when it comes to that. He know exactly who he is, what he capable of doing, and he know that's who he got to rely on.
right.
You know that song? Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna do our little women's health segment. Uh, and let you have it, Michelle.
Okay, Shalom. I'm going to do the women's health on the benefits of honey. Okay.
Okay,
Honey is one of the top health foods across the globe. Honey is a wonderful creation. I'm going to say that again. Honey is a wonderful creation. Honey is among the most popular and widely used sweetener with enormous health benefits. It is used by several cultures around the world, serving as a base for many traditional medicines. The health benefits and advantages of honey have been valued since ages. Some of the benefits of honey: it is useful in weight management, strengthens immune system, nourishes your skin and face. It can boost your memory. It is a good home remedy for cough. It's a natural home remedy for dandruff. It is used for healing wounds. It acts as a natural sleeping aid. It eases sinus issues, helps with gum disease. It's a natural energy drink, and it helps prevents and control eczema.
okay,
Okay, so I'm going to read just a few scriptures about honey, and I'm going to start with Deuteronomy 8:7.
okay,
Okay, this in my study Bible, the title is over that God has provided a good land. So Deuteronomy, I'm gonna start with 7 and I'm gonna end with 8. Deuteronomy 8:7. For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills. 8. A land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of all olive and honey. That was Deuteronomy 8, verse 7 and 8. And then I'm going to read Proverbs 24:13.
okay,
And let me get there. Okay, Proverbs 24:13 says, my son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to thy taste. Okay. And then my last one is Psalm 119 and 103.
okay,
One of my favorite songs. So Psalm 119 and 103 says, how sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. That is one of my favorite verses.
Okay.
So I had to put that one in there.
Okay.
So I just hope that I didn't know honey had a lot of good benefits
Oh
to
yeah,
it
yeah.
because of right how sweet, how
Right,
sweet it is, but honey has a lot of health benefits.
right, right. Yeah, the honey is the when you go back in ancient times, you know, you see how the Egyptians they got that bee on their, it's part of it's on the royal, on the pharaoh.
Right.
That bee was, but not only in Egypt, that honey was a major part of their diet, or in Egypt, Israel too. Honey
Yeah,
was
yes, I was reading that.
right. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's like one of the number one uh, substances that they use because it had a lot of benefits to the body.
Right, exactly. And it was like a natural healing
Right,
regimen that they put into their diet a lot. And when I was reading up on honey, that is good now, they say, is to take, at least a teaspoon of honey a day.
right, exactly.
Hmm.
Right, and then the thing about it, like the most I always telling us how to observe His creation, right?
Right.
So when you look at like ants, and then you look at bees, how many of them it is, and all that doing, all that buzzing and flying and back and forth, that's the result. Honey is the result. So
Hmm.
it's got to be something going on with it. All the work they putting in.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
true.
right,
Yes. And it's natural, but you have so many people now that take it and they water it down and things like that, but you don't need to.
right, right, right. But
Cause
they tell them make substitutes for it, but
right,
it goes back to how it was made, how them bees, what them bees had to do to make it. That's what the thing.
right,
That's what it's figuring. They can't replicate that.
right,
Another thing too is like groundwater. So look at all this. Look at everything with the different uh, levels of soil that the groundwater got to pass through before it get to where it's groundwater.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
it's an intense process. So you're supposed to expect something good out of it, but it got to go through the. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Just like
Process.
everything else. Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was reading up on that. Just like everything else that was in its natural form, they
Right.
have taken that and just made it into
Right.
whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No matter what it is,
Right.
you don't even need to bother with it. Just leave it alone.
Right. Exactly.
But they want to take everything and stretch it out for an extra dollar, no matter what they do to it.
Right. Long as it tastes as long as it tastes like that, they don't care what they put in to make it taste like that. But
Taste right.
yeah, so, people go for.
Right.
Like I was watching a video earlier uh, about how this brother was talking about how we dumbed down now, especially with the news. Anything they show you on the news, we go for it. We don't do no critical analysis of it. But like he was talking about this bombing that just happened. I mean, the smoke bomb, the guy on the train that
On
throw
the
the
subway in New York.
yeah.
Hmm.
He was saying just so happened. It's an incident, coincidence that the cameras around there wasn't on. And then the other trail cars was locked, just that one little area where the camera showed you. You know what I'm saying? All that's a coincidence. Same day, the door was locked on the other cars. You know what I'm saying? The camera ain't there. Yeah. So they adding up, man. Yeah. There's some.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Okay. So anybody got any current events they want to bring up for? I got a few couple uh, and some need to know information. Anybody got anything? Okay. Yeah, let me know if I'm getting some feedback.
systematic destruction of the American way of life is happening all around us, but still, most part of our population has no idea what is happening. Once upon a time in America, if you worked hard and managed your spending, you could support a middle-class lifestyle for your entire family with one good-paying job, even if you only had a high school education. We can't say that things were perfect, but back then, almost everyone in the country was able to take care of themselves without the need for government assistance. We worked hard, we played hard, and our seemingly boundless prosperity was inspiring for many other economies around the world. But things started to go downhill over the past few decades. We started to consume far more wealth than we produced. We shipped about 50 million good-paying jobs to foreign countries. We accumulated the biggest mountain of debt in the history of the world, and we kept voting for politicians that did not care at all about the long-term future of this nation. Today, dependence on the government is at an all-time high, and that leaves millions of Americans in a very vulnerable position because we're at the precipice of the next great economic recession. The numbers we're about to share with you are staggering, and you probably fit into one of these categories or face some of these challenges yourself. But before checking this list, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you keep updated with our upcoming important videos. Here now are 20 signs that American families are being economically destroyed. Number 1. Today, the average American spends $1,784 a month on housing, or that's about $21,409 a year, amounting to roughly 35% of their income. According to data released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the poorest 40% of all Americans now spend more than 50% of their incomes just on food and housing. Those in the bottom 30% of the income scale make an average of $14,000 a year, including the value of many government benefits like food stamps or disability payments. However, they spend more than $25,000 or 182% of their annual income, mostly on essential needs such as housing, food, and transportation. Meanwhile, the middle class is not doing much better. While their annual income just barely surpasses $54,000.
Why interpreters want this instant translator device?
On average, they spend over $48,000 or 89% of their earnings to afford basic expenses every year. Two, rents continue to skyrocket all across America. Today, a worker must earn about $20.40 an hour to afford a modest one-bedroom rental. But the median wage in the U.S. is about $21 an hour. That means that the lowest earning 10% of Americans would need to. Debt is owned by people who don't have the money to pay for it, says so explained. 16. In 2004, the rate of home ownership in the U.S. was 69.2%. Today, that rate has declined to 65%. As housing affordability continues to worsen, 70% of young adults are going to have a harder time buying a home than their parents' generation did. 17. The Wall Street Journal has reported that 600,000 businesses closed in the first year of the health crisis. And in 2021, an additional 200,000 businesses have been shut down. Amongst retailers, 3,700 chains announced closures this year, which according to UBS estimates means that around 80,000 U.S. stores may close before year's end, and 150,000 may disappear up to 2026. 18. 13.8 million U.S. households experienced food insecurity at some time over the past 2 years. Overall, food insecurity has affected 14.8% of households with children last year, and around 584,000 children in America experienced hunger in 2021. 19. According to the latest Fed data, the top 1% of Americans have a combined net worth of $34.2 trillion, which accounts for 30.4% of all household wealth in the U.S. On the flip side, the bottom 50% of the population collectively holds just $2.1 trillion, or about 1.9% of all wealth. 20. On top of everything else, the average American must work from January 1st to April 18th just to pay all federal, state, and local taxes this year. So you work on average 4 months and a half out of every year to finance government spending.
Right, that's any comments on it?
The inflation steady going up and the salaries are staying the same. You know, a lot of people saying, oh, recession this, recession that. No, this is more than a recession.
Oh, yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
The housing bubble got him.
Right.
That's where it's at. It's no different than when the 07 and 08. The same thing happened.
How these people gonna? I don't know. It's gonna have to burst soon.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Doubling.
Oh yeah.
Right, and you know, a lot of people just really started preparing when the pandemic hit, right? And but I'm gonna say this: if you're not a hoarder, you better become one, because you better start putting back and preparing.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're getting low, fill in those gaps. Start replenishing.
Right. Putting back. Get you a little stockpile. Mm-hmm. Coming a whole lot sooner than a lot of people think.
What's happening in China? The situation is going from bad to worse in Shanghai. New infections are breaking records. More than 25,000 cases were reported today. The situation is tough, to say the least. The Indian consulate in the city has become inaccessible due to restrictions as the people of Shanghai suffer inside their homes because of shortages. Here's a report.
That voice is of a mother. It's a desperate appeal for help. The woman's son had fever. She wanted some fever-reducing medicine. With Shanghai locked down and drugstores closed, the mother had no choice but to ask the neighbors for help. There are more like her. This may look like a construction site, but it is not. This is a makeshift quarantine center in Shanghai. A mother was shipped off here with her 3-year-old by the local authorities. Shanghai is still struggling to cope with its Wuhan virus surge. More than 130,000 cases have been reported so far. The number of new infections is rising every day. The people of Shanghai are struggling. Even Communist Party loyalists can't deny that. Hu Xijin, the former editor of State Mouthpiece, The Global Times, spoke out. He said he had seen the videos of protests in Shanghai. Chinese health officials predict there won't be any respite soon.
In the city of Shanghai, for 8 consecutive days, there have been over 10,000 new infected cases reported. The epidemic is in a period of rapid growth. Community transmission has not been effectively contained and has spilled over to multiple provinces and cities. We predict that in the next few days, the number of new infected cases will continue to be at a high level. We are still faced with grim and complicated challenges in the fight against the epidemic.
China's containment strategies are not working. This video is from near a quarantine center in Shanghai. These are believed to be the patients who were sent there. They came out to get food supplies. The locals living close to the quarantine site are worried. They fear more people are now getting sick in the area. The outbreak in Shanghai has led to diplomatic repercussions. The United States has asked its citizens to reconsider traveling to Shanghai, not because of the Wuhan virus outbreak, but due to China's response. The United States says Beijing is enforcing pandemic rules arbitrarily. America's non-emergency staff in Shanghai has been asked to go home. Beijing is outraged by the move.
We express strong dissatisfaction and firm opposition to the US politicizing and instrumentalizing the issue of personnel evacuation. We have lost stern representations with the US side. The US should immediately stop criticizing China's epidemic prevention policy, stop using the epidemic to engage in political manipulation, and stop smearing China.
Beijing's anger doesn't come as a surprise, but it's an undeniable fact that Shanghai is struggling. The Wuhan virus has gone out of control. The residents of Shanghai are getting desperate. They want some relief from the virus and the restrictions.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody know anything about that? They kind of keep it under wraps, what they're doing. Anybody got any information on that? They heard anything?
No, I have not heard anything about that. But
Yeah,
you guys notice it always starts in China?
Yeah.
It's a setup. That's why. Like I said, they trying to bring this place down. So you know where it's going. You know what's coming next. It's gonna come here. Every time it show up in China, next thing you know, it's in US. And it's twice as worse than it was in China. Just something? Okay. So I got a little need to know information, and y'all get some. I'll play the video, and then I'll get some comments later. Okay. Hold up.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be sharing something very interesting here today that was shared with me. Now, I don't want you all to look at this in no way like it's a promotion of this type of gadget situation, hookup room / alternative living world. It's not a promotion of this. Quite the contrary, what I'm going to be doing is showing you how they have a plan in place to just completely obliterate your mind with entertainment. For some people, this is like a dream come true. Let's just keep it real here. Some people will look at this situation like it's a dream come true. But this is actually what they have planned for you. And some are going to go willingly. So what I want to do is we are going to dive into this. Okay, let's take a look at what they have planned for you. Try not to get caught up in the whole idea of how cool this looks. Okay, just take a look at what I'm going to be saying here. You can see how they are literally planning to turn your brain into soup. Okay, so this is an article that's on Japan Today, and it is a motorized electric gaming bed, takes gaming furniture to the next level. So if you look at this man right here, he is in a lay down position. So that basically tells you that after he dove into all of this mess that he dove into, all of the three screens and all of the keyboards and everything you could possibly need, now he's in a lay down position because he's like, oh, I'm so tired now after all of this that I just stirred up into my brain, right? So I'm not going to really be getting into the furniture. The article itself means nothing. I just want you to look at the positions. Look at this. Okay, so this is a position where he is sitting up in this thing. He has his controller in his hand, his keyboards there, all of his little gadgets, his little drink holder here. He's in the sit-up position. He's at attention, almost as if he is focused on his God. Now, already, I know some people are going to say, man, that's out cool. That's cool. I would love to have something like that. To me, this is a waste of time and money. A waste of time and money, especially when you look at what's going on in the world today. There's some very serious stuff going on in the world today, but some people would actually look at this like it is something awesome and amazing and something that they desire to have for their lives. I can even see parents who are barely scraping by, trying to save up money to get this for their children because they're going to whine and whine and whine, and they're going to coddle them because of the whining and just end up trying to buy something like this. Now look at this. Take it a step further. He even has this little drink thing here, little pull-out table to hold the drink, and look at that. He has his cup of noodles. So he's like, hey, I'm going to even sit here and eat. Is that a microwave right there? And look, the little black cup in his hands, those look like his noodles. His cup of noodles that he puts in the mic. And so no doubt this is the water that he used, or the picture that he used to pour over this so that he can't put it in the mic and cook. So he's basically saying, look, you can sit here, you can eat here, you can watch television here, you can game here, you can sleep here. And for some people, this would be, like I said, a dream come true. Look at this. And so this apparently is a video. I'm not going to play the video, but you can see it on YouTube, where I'm guessing it shows all the positions of this thingamabob that they are trying to put out here to further occupy the times of people who are already out of the loop on reality, people who are in La La Land. This is something for a person who lives in La La Land. Look at this. Look at this. Got your little remote holder. Everything that a time waster could ever dream of. Again, this is not a promotion of this. And I know a lot of people will think that this is cool and this is something that they just got to have. But this is just further proof that technology is here, not just to improve lives, but to destroy lives. Because when you get a person who is so into these things to where they can't function outside of this stuff, you create a population of people who are so involved in these things to where they can't function in society. This is why we've seen articles of children, teenagers, who, when asked to put the gadgets down or to unplug this stuff or to do something else, we have seen situations where young people have taken the lives of their own parents. This is what they have planned for you. When we see these futuristic movies of people in vehicles that are being driven without hands, being controlled. I mean, this stuff, we are on the verge of all of this. And a big part of it is to keep people's minds so occupied.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Wow, he had the whole 9 yards, the mini fridge, everything right there.
Yeah, so that's how them kids living too. They're pretty much they're already doing that. They just don't have the accommodations like that. But they are already doing that, in their bed or wherever. They just laying, they just there all the time on them games. They don't go outside, they don't do nothing. You know, that's just that little. That's from observing them. They came up with that to accommodate them.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Just made it more convenient and comfortable.
Right. Mm-hmm. Make money off of it because, you know, 9 times out of 10, the parents gonna make it happen. Get it to shut them up. Mm-hmm. Is this something? That go right along with that metaverse.
Right.
Is this something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said before, right here, I'm gonna open it up for some. Anybody got any questions or comments about something they came across? They want to get an answer or they want to comment on something? Okay. Well, if you ain't heard about it, they got that little situation going on in New York with the guy shooting up the subway. I'm gonna play this right here and then we'll go in on it, talk about it. Then we go to our reading for the night. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so people that don't know, they found this guy, they caught him today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to talk about a person that's been on YouTube for years, actually, under the handle Prophet of Truth. And this guy, he was the person that's a suspect of the alleged shooting in New York. So everyone knows the story to that. If you don't know, maybe you haven't heard anything about it because maybe you could be from a different country. So the man's name is Frank James. You know, he was 62 years old. And, you know, he was arrested for the New York subway shooting. Okay, now he definitely have a lengthy criminal history. So he talked about violence. I mean, yes, in his YouTube videos, he was really open about talking about violence and mass shootings, you know, that he's posted to YouTube. And he had posted one as recently as Monday. Now, they said the NYPD said that he was the suspect behind the shooting that left 10 people with gunshot wounds, 19 other people injured in Brooklyn. They say police believe none of the wounded have life-threatening injuries. He's charged with violating a law that prohibits terror and other violent attacks against mass transportation system. I say, according to the U.S. Attorney of the Eastern District of New York, they say the motive behind the shooting is still unknown. Now, it said he has been linked to rambling videos posted on YouTube. It said that has since been removed. A screenshot of one of the videos was used by the NYPD Crime Stoppers flyer. It's seeking information about the shooting. They say one video, they say he posted a City of New York ID card, they say from a past educational training program. Now, he was known, they said, to the New York City authorities before Tuesday's incident. They say he had 9 prior arrests in the city dating from 1992 to 1998 for offenses including burglary, possession of burglary tools, a criminal violation act, it said, and theft of service. And they said NYPD chief of detectives said Wednesday that he also been arrested 3 times in New Jersey in 91, 92, and 2007 for trespassing, larceny and disorderly conduct. They say, however, it said he had no previous felony convictions, so he was able to purchase a firearm. Now they talked about the videos. And it's a reason why I'm covering this, and I'm gonna go into the videos because it's something I need to say here about some things even I see here on the platform. Because this guy was on this platform spewing this for a while. Okay. And he's not the only one. But let me continue. So they say in many of the videos that he posted to YouTube, they say included references, they say of, definitely open violence, including a set of, a group of people that he believed treating him wrong, in addition to a broader society and racial groups that he appeared to have issue with. Now, it's a YouTube spokesperson confirmed Wednesday the channel had been removed according to its creator responsibility guidelines, and the platform is primarily servicing videos from authoritative sources, search and recommendations. Now, what that means is that creator responsibility guidelines. So you can get your channel taken down for something that you do off platform, right? So he didn't have any copyright strikes, so he didn't have any community guideline strikes. But because of what he did in the in the media, and it makes YouTube look bad, they just took your channel down. That's basically what they did with him. And he's talking about authoritative sources. Now, what they mean by that, okay, is they're going to put all the videos at the front that comes from the mainstream media and not independent creators. Well, you could be in a few creators are in that unspoken program, but every time I press YouTube about what's the guidelines for the program, they can never give me a answer. But I can tell when someone's in it based on just the way the viewership works for that particular channel. People like the Young Turks, they're in that program, for instance. I think as of recent, they just put your boy Boulay Martin in there too. After BNC went down, I noticed that he kind of got in that program, because before Boulay Martin couldn't even get 100 views on a video, and all of a sudden he's getting 100,000, millions of views now. Like I knew they put him in that program, but that's part of the system. It is what it is. Now continuing. They said that they analyzed videos that posted his account before it was taken down. Said it appears in the last video Monday, he talked about someone who engaged in violence and ended up in jail. He said he could identify, but talked about the consequences. He said, I've been through a lot of, issues where I can say I wanted to, he wanted to hurt people. That's for sure. He said he wanted to watch people, pass away right in front of his MF face immediately. He said, but I thought about the fact that, hey, man, I don't want to go to no in prison. See, this guy was saying this before he did it. Okay. You have a lot of people on this platform, ladies and gentlemen, who are certified crazy, just to be honest with you, who are deranged. And this guy, the reason why he didn't come underneath the radar of YouTube is because his channel only had they said 300 subscribers. So if you're a bigger channel, of course, they're watching you a lot harder. And say when you have the smaller channels, that's the people that the people they need to watch even more, because they get away with a lot more. Okay. So it's in one video, he posted online in February, he criticized the plan by New York City Mayor Eric Adams to address safety and homelessness in the subway as part of the expanded presence of mental health professionals. He said his recording, he said that the new effort was doomed to fail and described his own negative experience of city health workers during the crisis of mental health back in the 90s, 80s, and 70s. This man admitted multiple times in videos that I heard them. He admitted that he had PTSD. He said it multiple times, so he's extremely mentally ill. They say in the videos they posted last week, it said he's black, of course. It rants about abuse in churches and racism in the workplace. They're using they won't say misogynistic and racist language. They keep. I noticed they keep on harping on trying to say that he's a black nationalist. No, he's not. He is not part of no organization. That guy is just a mentally ill person that had violent tendencies and carried them out. And now that I'm watching the framing of this, they make him more of an issue about this, and these fools that storm the government. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm seeing the white supremacists. They all up here trying to act like, what he did was worse than anything they ever did. Say these people have done multiple of these, right? Multiple, and they just overlook that.
Okay. Any comments so far?
I thought the Will Smith thing was the worst thing they said a black person has ever done, or anybody has ever done. So at least we moved on from that.
Right.
This man, like you said, he's probably just mentally, if he got PTSD, that would explain a lot.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. Like I said, when you look at it, it's almost as if what's called he the poster boy for what they trying to do, feel, because he's saying that it sounds like that's what they're saying he was doing. It sounds like the same thing that the Israelites be doing, right?
Same thing that who's doing?
the Israelites on the corners.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And then so the thing what just caught my attention was he said it wasn't the people with a bunch of viewers, it's the ones that don't have that many views. So what he's doing is what they doing right here with this guy is setting it up for they can start going to anybody, any black guy that's
saying anything, right?
Yeah, saying anything. They say anything. They're gonna
Mm.
start shutting up. You know, it's gonna be justification for them shutting down all these
Channels. Yeah.
all these Israelite channels.
Mm.
That's what it is. They get ready. It's a setup to attack the voice of the Israelites. Yeah, ain't that something? Put a little more.
That's a good point.
Right.
Like they talking about this guy, but they not talking about how the guys that tried to kidnap the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, they're not talking about how those guys literally got off for it. and nobody even talking about that. I said, boy, that's privilege, isn't it? You can try to kidnap a governor and still nothing happens to you. You know. But so they quoting here one of his videos where he said we need to see more mass shootings. Said we need to see more. There's been more mass shootings to make he said inward understand it's not about the shooter, it's about the environment in which he has to exist. They said now that speech was common throughout James' videos, which he repeatedly espoused hatred toward Black Americans. So that's the part I want to get to. He had a video I saw, he talked about George Floyd, okay? And he was saying it was George Floyd's fault. He this, that. He sounded like a straight, raccoon in that video. So to say this dude hated everybody, even Black people. He hated Black people. They say in another video they posted, it said that he shared that he had post-traumatic stress. And then he left his home in Milwaukee on March the 20th. They say in a trip eastward, he said he was heading to the danger zone. He said, it's triggering a lot of negative thoughts. He said, of course, I have a severe case of post-traumatic stress. He kept repeating that over and over in videos. So basically, he was severely mentally ill with violent tendencies that he acted out on. Now, they said preliminary information indicated James mentioned homelessness. It said New York City and its mayor on online posts. It said NYPD Commissioner Keechant Sewell said, as a result, she said the city would increase the mayor's security. They said police released the photos. They said including the one from the YouTube channel. They said keys belonging to a U-Haul had been rented under his name in Philadelphia and were found among the shooter's possessions at the shooting scene in Brooklyn. They said the videos give insights of James' path to the northeast. They said we arrived in Philadelphia March 25th after stops in Fort Wayne, Indiana, Pittsburgh, and Newark, New Jersey. But this guy has been on YouTube for a while. And when I seen that guy's picture, like when he had the shades on, I said, wait a minute. This guy had been on YouTube before. He's popped up, his videos, right? I mean, anybody that's been around a while know that guy's been on YouTube. But let me say something about YouTube in itself and some of these people that come to your channel, okay? Content creators, you need to be real careful and take responsibility of your words, because there are people, as you can see here, who is severely mentally ill. And I'm going to tell you about men. Men could be real dangerous more than women in a lot of ways when they have that mentally illness with.
You see what I mean? The way he talking. Anybody seen that?
Yes.
Okay.
The tendency of violence and stirring those kind of men up. Because I heard one of his videos where he was just ranting and raving about Black women. And that video just really was disturbing me because how much hate he was just spewing about Black women. Now, is some Black women do things that's not right? Sure, of course. We know that. Just as much as they got some Black men out here not doing things that's right. But what this guy was saying, it's just the venom that he was spewing. It makes me go back to some of the content that's coming out of the manosphere. And as of recent, I was wondering why everybody was making videos saying they were leaving the manosphere. I said, why is that? You know, I think Mediocre Tutorials has said it. I think O'Shea said it. A lot of people said they were leaving the manosphere because the manosphere, what's happened with it now, in my opinion, is drew a certain crowd of people that I don't think none of those guys want to be attached to, personally. And then on top of that, because of these kind of people that tried to show up and attach themselves to that kind of content, what it said now the Fed.
Yeah, I got a question. What's the manosphere?
What that is this man is part of it. He part to me. He's this Philip, whatever. He acts like he's pro-black and whatever. But he repeats a lot of that crap that the people like Kevin Samuels. See, what's happening is I've heard a lot of the black women say they're gonna get a class action suit. That's why he backpedaling, because he has said stuff, repeated some of that stuff. So with him acting so surprised about what the black men are saying about the black women.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're saying is a lot of the hate speech that these black men on these panels and these YouTube, they're getting violent. They're kind of inciting, like this O'Shea, the person that he was saying, he one of the main ones. He bagging up because he know they getting ready to do this lawsuit. So these women are feeling like those channels should have been taken down, because a lot of the women have been getting death threats and things like that, because they're telling, they should kill this person, they kill that person. I don't know. So by him saying that, I've heard him repeat some of Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels is the biggest name right now in the manosphere.
Okay.
He has the most followers. But
okay.
He doesn't say some of the, he says some rude stuff. But some of these channels, these men, you would think they were white supremacists the way they talk about black women.
Right.
So it's like, because they were saying, they're talking about defund the police. And the people was talking about, the black women was saying they don't want to defund the police, because if they left it up to black men, that they think the black men would be worse to black women and children than white supremacists would be. They felt like the black men were turning into the things they were saying was worse. Was just in kind to what they complain about from white people.
Okay.
And they were just being violent. So they're doing I didn't know they were bagging away, but if he's saying O'Shea and the rest of them the main ones. Them the ones why they surprised when you saying this kind of, just like the rap music. If you saying this stuff all day, every day, you're reaching a large number of men. Impressionable, even, these younger men are impressionable, don't have fathers, so they listen to that stuff. And you creating now what you're saying that you didn't know. I don't understand how they didn't know that, and some of the stuff the women saying is getting real bad. It's just bad because they're fighting against each other now.
Right.
So I'm not surprised that it's getting to, and like you said, you got crazy people listening to it. Just like the Israelite man. I don't know if I don't know if I told Michelle, somebody, how the man, before he got into, remember that clip, before he got into the Israelite community in one of those camps, he said he thought black women were like the baddest thing going. And he said since he's been in, he said black women, it's like they poison these men against their own community.
Right.
I don't know if they're paid to do this or what. I just can't see the motivation for them to turn in on each other like that. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, they like you said, they got agents. And what you do is look at the ones that come up with all these resources out of nowhere to be able to do to get on YouTube and do what they do. It's like, where all this funding coming from that you got to do to buy all this equipment and stuff. That's a trick to it. Like look at the difference out of all the Israelite groups. Look at UIC and GGOC, all that. Look at all the money they got. You know, where that come from. Crazy.
That GOC, what is it? The GOCC?
Right.
They're headed by white people anyway. I forgot. They did an expose, on them.
All right.
So
Oh yeah. They're doing with the Israelites, same way they did with the rappers. How they started with the rappers, they was Edomites behind the scenes, encouraging all that old gangster rap and all that. And they're doing the same thing with these Israelites, coming in and giving them money and causing them to inject, simple stuff into something that started out that was good and peaceful and good. They came in and they using money to pervert it. Getting our own people to pervert it.
And the Lord is going to really, because they're using this knowledge for evil. So they better, it don't take long. You see, the vengeance is swift a lot of times.
Oh yeah. And then if you sit there and watch that, like the guy, the information that the guy, those guys on like UIC and GGOCC, the knowledge they putting out, but you can't see that the New Testament ain't right. So that means that's a dead giveaway right there, because to be breaking down some of the stuff they breaking down, you gotta see the contrast in the Old and the New Testament. Want to get something? I'm gonna let a little more play, then I'm gonna go into
kids were paying attention to incels. And I think for those guys to say, okay, I'm done with that. I don't want nothing to do with that. I want my name attached to that. I would agree that was a good move for those guys to say, I don't want nothing to do with that manosphere. That's not what I came in to talk about. So what I'm saying is, even the certain ways that I move, right? I move a certain way online because I understand some people are that's talking to you on the screen or even making videos. Some of these people not wrapped too tight, ladies and gentlemen. They're not. I will argue with nobody on here. I won't, because some people you argue with, you think you're just trying to get a point across, and them people are certified loons, and they got time. They got time to find you. They got time to do everything. You understand what I'm saying? People that make videos at you don't even try to respond to a lot of it. Just keep making your content. Why? Because you don't know who these people are. Even the way I move now, even if we do some sort of let's say like trips or something like that, and I'm there but I'm not there. Well, I do it like that because you don't know who shows up on trips either. You really don't know. On my platform.
Okay.
I'll stay growing.
Okay, yeah. So we can see. I mean, it's obvious to see what they get ready to do. They get ready to try to put a sock in especially the black man's mouth, and from all this information is coming out on the internet from all different angles. They're getting ready to crack down on that. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go into the lesson. Anybody got anything else to say on that? Good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to the lesson. You had something to say?
I was saying, that's just a mess.
Right. Okay, so I'm reading. I don't know if anybody aware of it or not, but in Deuteronomy chapter 32, Moses sung a song, just like with the song. Psalms are songs. David was a psalmist. David was like, what his name? Marvin Gaye. So and you you're looking at that, pretty much can trace Marvin Gaye back to that lineage of men that came out of ASAP. They was, they were vocal. They had the gift. They was vocal. They had voices. Sing like hummingbirds. So Dave had that ability. So he was like these songs. He was singing them. Their songs. So what I want to shine light on tonight is Moses sung a song to the Israelites. It's in Psalm 32. I'm gonna read it. But the thing is that he had been shown what was going to happen to the Israelites as a people in the future and what they were going to end up doing after he passed away. So he's actually prophesying to them in a song. And then not only did Moses do it, Joshua did it too. Joshua got a song that he sung to the Israelites before he passed. And it's that's in Joshua 89. It's in the King James too, but I'm gonna read one Joshua's song out of Joshua 89. But I'm gonna read Moses' song first. And it's kind of it's kind of impactful knowing that, and then the things that he's saying, he's prophesying to them. But he's, like I said, it's in the song. So I'm gonna Deuteronomy chapter 32. Let's get it. Okay, there it is. Okay. Let's start reading this. It says Moses' song, Deuteronomy 32. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the shadows upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of the Lord. Ascribe ye greatness unto our God. He is the rock. His work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he. They have corrupted themselves. Their spots is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that have bought thee? Have he not made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land, and in a waste howling wilderness, he led him about, he instructed him, he kept him as the apple of his eye, as the eagle stirreth up her nest, flutters over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields, and he made him to suck honey out of a rock, and oil out of a flinty rock, butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of the lamb, and rams of the breed of the Bashan, and goats with the fat of the kidney of wheat, and thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. So 15, but Jezreel waxed fat and kicked, thou art waxing fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. So I've got two things I want to deal with first before I go on. I stopped at verse 15, so I want to go back up to verse 3 things. So you notice, I think we kind of went over this before, but it says, verse 8, when the Most High, this Yahweh, divided the nations, their inheritance, when he separated the sons of men, sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel, and then the Lord's portion. See that? So Lord is not Yahweh because he received this. Yahweh the one meeting it out. See, verse 8, when the Most High divided the earth, right? Divided up the nations, people that was on the earth, the Lord portion, that's Michael, received Israel. For the Lord portion is his people. Jacob is a lot of his inheritance. See that? Yeah. So it can't be Yahweh. Yahweh the one meeting it out. So he ain't meeting out nothing to himself. He's meeting it out to these angels. Because we know in Genesis chapter 10, Gabriel told him the prince of Persia was coming and the prince of Greece was coming. These are angelic beings that's over those regions that he talking about right here when he divided it up. So verse 12 says, so the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. So that, when you rightly divide that, he the God that's over Israel, so ain't nobody else with him. Ain't nobody else with him. So that means that, whoever you done came concocted since that time ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Right? So 13, he made him to ride. This is the part that was interesting to me. He made him to ride on the high places of the earth, and that he might eat the increase of the fields, and he made him to suck honey out of a rock and oil out of a flintstone. So he said that he wrestled with Jacob first, the man Jacob. He got 12 sons. He went and got them out of Egypt, brought them back, gave them all these laws, statutes, and judgments, all this gold they brought out of Egypt, just like when Abraham went with Amalek. Abraham went there with limited information, limited resources, but when he left with everything almost. The Israelite did that in Egypt. They went there 70 souls. They left out a nation, but they left out with all the wealth and gold of Egypt. So that's what he's saying right here in verse 13. He, Lord of hosts, made him. Him is the nation of Israel. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the field, and he made him to suck honey out of a rock, and out of a flinty rock. So Michelle just did a little class on the honey. So there ain't nothing bad about honey. You got some honey and deal with some honey is a blessing. So anyway, 14 says, the butter of kine, the milk of sheep, with the fat of the lambs and the rams of Bashan, and the goats with the fat of kidneys of wheat, and thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. Not so we see right here, the pure blood of the grape is wine. So he made a point to increase the 100-fold the grapes so they can drink wine. But you got people nowadays saying, you can't drink wine, but he produced the wine for them right here. He's telling you right here. That was part from 12, 13, and 14 is blessings. So when he says, and thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape, that's a blessing, right? But check out 15. But Jezreel waxed fat and kick, thou art waxing fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. So, what you see me breaking down right here, you can apply this to Isaiah 53. Everybody trying to figure out who the suffering servant is. And so, like I said over and over again, he's talking about he wrestled with Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, but when he's dealing with Israel, he sees Israel as one man. That's why he talks in the singular. So verse 15 says, Jezreel, right? Who is Jezreel? Okay, up here, when he found them and he blessed them and gave them all the blessings, just like you see it happening today. Soon as a person, they just got the nicest, humblest spirit, and then they'll win a lotto. Or they come to a bunch of money and they flip, forget who they are, start looking down on everybody and trick and start tripping and lose their way. So Jezreel is Israel after they turn wicked, after they turn from the God. Just like the prodigal son. Same entity, which is Israel, but he called them Jezreel because they didn't wax fat, got their nose up in there. So now he called them Jezreel. So let's look at another example there right quick. Well, you probably didn't read it, but he didn't know what he was talking about. So I'm in Isaiah. I'm trying to get used to this new Bible I got. So Isaiah. Okay. Yeah, Isaiah 44. I read this verse all the time. Isaiah 44 says, okay, here you go. Isaiah 44. This is a prophecy that we're in the midst of right now. So Isaiah 44 and 1 says, yet hear, O Jacob, right? Same thing I just read over there. It's a nation, but it's singular. It says, yet hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel. See that? Whom I have chosen. So that's Israel. So thus says the Lord that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob. See that? He calling him Jacob right here now. My servant, and thou Jezreel. See that? So same entity, but when he found them, he wrestled it and he changed Jacob name, Jacob name to Israel. And it was all good. But then they waxed fat and got, because of all the wealth he brought upon them and poured on them, and they lost their mind and flipped out and thought they had it going on. They wasn't trying to return from the Most High. So that's when he started calling them Jezreel. See that? So let's read it again. It's 44 and 2. Thus said the Lord that made thee, formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, right? My servant, and thou Jezreel. Same entity. It's just that Jezreel was when they flipped out on him. So anyway, let's go back to 32. I'm back over here in Deuteronomy 32, and I'm at 15. But Jezreel waxed fat. See that? Jezreel waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxing fat. They bring the fat on the altar. The Most High's constantly blessing them. They getting it all, and they lost it. Thou art covered with fatness. See that? Then he forsook God. That's Israel, Jezreel. He forsook God, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils and not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom their fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten the God that formed thee. So when they got all their wealth, when they was in Egypt, they constantly calling on them because Pharaoh was drop a drum on them every day. As soon as he brought them out and gave them and brought them up, and they went off and left him. 19. And when the Lord saw it, it abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them, and I will see what the end shall be, for they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. So remember now that Moses is prophesying this to them. So all this is futuristic. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. That's where we at now. JC. They have provoked me to anger with vanities. I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. That's Esau. For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountain. So let's look at this. 21. They have moved me to jealousy. This is the Lord of hosts talking. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. Right. So who is this foolish nation? Let's go to Isaiah 60. Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66 says, I'm reading 1 through 5. 66 verses, chapter 66 of Isaiah 1 through 5. Thus says the Lord, the heavens is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye built unto me, and where is the place of my rest? For all those things have my hands made, and all those things have been, said the Lord. But this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and tremble at my word. He that killeth an ox is as if he slew a man, and he that sacrificed a lamb as if he cut off a dog's neck, and he that offered an oblation as if he had offered swine's blood. He that burneth incense is as if he blessed an idol. Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their souls are delight in their abomination. This is Jezreel right here. So I just told you, right? So they went away from him. 4. I also will choose their delusions, and I will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes, and chose that in which I delighted not. Now here we go right here. This is the answer right here, what I was talking about. Hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. For your brethren, here go the foolish nation, your brethren that hated you, they cast you out, cast them out of the land of Israel back in 143 BC, right here. Say, cast you out for my name's sake. Say, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. So they came in, Esau came in, trying to, and said, let the Lord be glorified. They wanted the land that that belonged to the Lord of hosts that he had gave to Jacob. Esau think that he was rightfully his. But we know the story. He had sold it to his brother because he didn't care about it. So that's the foolish nation. They over there right now. So anyway, I'm at 22. A fire is kindled in this is 22, Deuteronomy 32, 22. For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischief upon them, and I will spin mine arrows upon them. These curses. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with their destruction. And I will also send the teeth of the beast. That's the 4 beasts right here. The teeth of that's the 4 beasts upon them, with the poison of the serpents of the dust. Greeks, like I told you, is Cain's descendants. That's the fiery flying serpent. Okay, they can't. That's the way it originated from. 25. The sword without, terror within, shall destroy both the young man, the virgin, the suckling, and with the man of gray hairs. That's what happened. Okay, then 26. I said I will scatter them into corners. I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So it's the Lord of hosts doing. He says, 26. It's the Lord of hosts, will scatter them. We know that happened into all corners, and I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So what are you talking about? Psalms 83. Let me go there. Psalms 83. Okay. Psalms 83. So we see you got a lot of Israelites that go there and they deal with Psalms 83, but he's telling you right here, he the one behind Psalms 83. Let's look at it. Psalms 83 says, give me a minute. Okay. Psalms 83 says, keep not silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in members. So go back over here. And he just told you he the one behind. He says, Deuteronomy 32, 26, I say, the Lord of hosts, I will scatter them into the corners, and I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among me. So he behind. He the one behind Psalms 83. See that? 27. Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Lord have not done all this. For they They are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Of that, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. See that? So he's saying if you understand what's gonna happen, this stuff you're doing, you wouldn't do it because you know what the results gonna be. 30. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock has sold them, and the Lord has shut them up. For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is not of the vine of Sodom, for their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, their clusters are bitter, and their wine is the poison of dragons and the cruel venom of apes. Is not this laid up and stored with me and sealed up among my treasures? To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. So let's look at that. 35 says, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. So he said the calamity is at hand, right? Let's look at it. Obadiah. Okay. Obadiah. Maybe one chapter in Obadiah. So it says, okay, Obadiah. It says, starting at verse 15, it says, chapter 1, Obadiah, verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathens. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. It says, as for ye, no, I'm in the wrong place, my bad. 9, Obadiah chapter 1, verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of Mount Esau may be cut off by slaughter for thy violence against thy brother. That talking to Esau. Against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, foreigners entered into his gates, this Jerusalem, the Israelites, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. But thou shalt not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. This is 143 BC. Neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress. And thou should not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. See that? They got a calamity right there. So when we go back, like I said in Deuteronomy 32, he's prophesying in the future to them about what's going to happen to them. So he says in 35, Deuteronomy 32 and 35, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time, for the day of their calamity. It's when Epiphanies came. The day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. For the Lord shall judge his people and recompense himself for his servants when he seeth that their power is gone and there is none shut up or left. And he shall say, where are their gods, the rock in whom they trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you and be your protection. See now that even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hands. For I lift up my hands to heaven, and I say, I live forever. If I with my glistening sword and my hand take hold of judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies, and I will recompense them that hate me. And I will make mine arrows drunk with the blood of my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and the captives from the beginning of the revenge upon the enemy. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants and will render vengeance to his adversaries and will be merciful unto his hand, to his land, and to his people. And Moses came and spake all these words. See this? Moses spoke all these words of this song. He's singing this in the ears of the people. He and Hoshea, son of Nun, and Moses made the end of speaking all these words unto all Israel. And he said unto them, set your hearts unto all the words which I testify against you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe and to do all the words of the law. For it is not a vain thing for you, because it is your life. And through this thing ye shall prolong your days in the land, whether ye go over the Jordan to possess. Okay, so then 48, and the Lord spake unto Moses that self same day, saying, go up thee into the mountain of Abram, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab, that is over against Jericho. And behold, the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel for possession, and die in the mount, whither thou goest up, and be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother died in Mount Hor, and was gathered unto his people, because ye trespassed against me among the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin, because ye sanctified me not in the midst of the children of Israel. Yet thou shalt see the land before thee, but thou shalt not go thither unto the land which I give the children of Israel. So we see right here that Moses sung this song, prophesied and told him all that's going to befall them. And then right after that, he took Moses up into the mountain, and Moses died. And was gathered unto his father. So, is anybody familiar with this? Deuteronomy 32?
Yeah, I think I remember you reading that one time.
Okay. So you get anything out of that?
A lot in
I
there.
have read it before, but I got a better understanding of, verse 15, a
Right.
jealous God. Like I said, you read that before and went over that, and you'll read it again yourself, but a lot of times you just don't get a good understanding. It may take 3 or 4 times to get a better understanding. Yeah. Yeah.
You gather more information.
And it shows like what we just talking about, with all that's going on in these camps.
Right.
Don't play.
Right.
And
You don't play.
they will have to be judged.
There's repercussions in anything you do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you said verse 15, you talking about Jezreel?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that was he showed Moses all that was gonna happen to him. Then he had Moses to tell the people, to inform them. And then Moses went on by the business. So they wasn't like they was in the dark. So Moses had told them this stuff, and then you had people that was living at that time. A lot of that stuff started overcoming them. They looking right at it. Right? He had already prophesied it to them. We doing the same thing. We looking at stuff that was in the book that it was told to us, and we see it's coming right in. It's overtaking us. We sitting here, and then we can actually look back and see this stuff that overtook us back then, like the west coast of Africa. He said ships was coming, and the ships came.
And they came. Yes, sir.
Right. But there's something. So what I'm gonna do now is read out of Jasher chapter 89. This is a song that Joshua sung before he died. Okay, so I'm gonna start reading in Jasher 89. Then spoke Joshua this song on the day that the Lord had given the Amorites into the hands of Joshua and the children of Israel, and he said in the sight of all Israel, thou hast done mighty things, O Lord. Thou hast performed great deeds. Who is likened unto thee? My lips shall sing to thy name. My goodness and my fortress, my high tower. I will sing a new song unto thee. With thanksgiving will I sing to thee. Thou art the strength of my salvation. All the kings of the earth shall praise thee. The princes of the world shall sing to thee. The children of Israel shall rejoice in thy salvation. They shall sing and praise thy power. So I don't know if you're catching that or not, but notice how he's telling them that verse 4, again, I'm going to read it. All the kings of the earth shall praise thee. The princes of the world shall sing to thee. The children of Israel shall rejoice in thy salvation. See that? So this ain't Yahweh. You already know it's an angel that's over our sins. It's an angel that is our Redeemer. And he's the one that he got our salvation. He said that already twice between these 4 verses. He says it up in verse 1. Verse 2 says, Thou hast done mighty things, O Lord, and thou hast performed great deeds. Who is like it unto thee? My lips shall sing to thy name, my greatness and my fortress, my high tower. I will sing a new song unto thee. With thanksgiving will I sing to thee. Thou art the strength of my salvation. Right there. Then in verse 4 it says, All the kings of the earth shall praise thee. The princes of the world shall sing to thee. The children of Israel shall rejoice in thy salvation. That he's saying, he's talking about salvation all through here, because the Redeemer is the one that saves. That's what Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1 says. To thee, O Lord, we confide. We said, Thou art our God, for thou art our shelter and a strong tower against our enemies. To thee we cried and were not ashamed. In thee we trusted and were delivered. Yet delivered. When we cried unto thee, thou didst hear our voice. Thou didst deliver our souls from the sword, and thou didst show us thy grace, and thou didst give unto us thy salvation. Thou didst rejoice our hearts with the strength. Thou didst go forth for our salvation. With thine arm thou didst redeem thy people. Thou didst answer us from the heavens of thy holiness. Thou didst save us from 10,000 of people. The sun and the moon stood still in heaven, and thou didst stand in thy wrath against our oppressors, and did command the judgment over them. All princes of the earth stood up. The kings of the nations have gathered themselves together. They were not moved at thy presence. They desired thy battles. Thou didst rise against them in thine anger, and didst bring down the wrath upon them. Thou didst destroy them in thine anger, and cut them off in thine heart. Nations have been consumed with the fury. Kingdoms have declined because of thy wrath. Thou didst wound kings in the day of thine anger. Thou didst pour out thy fury upon them. Thy wrathful anger took hold of them. Thou didst turn their iniquity upon them, and didst cut them off in thy wickedness. They did spread a trap. They fell therein in the net. They hid. Their foot fell in the net. They hid. Their foot was caught. Thine hand was ready for all thine enemies who said, through their sword they possessed the land. Through their arm they dwelt in the cities. They didn't fill their faces with shame. They did bring their horns down to the ground. Thou didst terrify them in thy wrath, and didst destroy them in thine anger. The earth trembled and shook, and the sound of thy storm over them. Thou didst not withhold their souls from death, and didst bring down their lives to the grave. Thou didst pursue them in thy storm. Thou didst consume them in thy whirlwind, and thou didst turn their reign into hell. They fell in deep pits so that they could not rise. Their carcasses were like rubbish cast out in the middle of the streets. They were consumed and destroyed in thine anger. Thou didst save thy people with thy might. Therefore our hearts rejoice in thee. Our souls exalt in thy salvation. Our tongue shall relate thy might. We will sing and praise thy wondrous work. For thou didst save us from our enemies. Thou didst deliver us from those who rose up against us, and thou didst destroy them from before us, and depress them beneath our feet. Thus shall all thy enemies perish, O Lord, and the wicked shall be like chaff driven by the wind, and thy beloved shall be like trees planted by the waters. So Joshua and all Israel with him returned to the camp in Gilgal after having smitten all the kings, so that not a remnant was left of them. And the 5 kings fled along on foot in battle and hid themselves in caves. And Joshua sought for them in the field of battle and did not find them. And it was afterwards told Joshua, saying, the kings are found, and behold, they are hidden in the cave. And Joshua said, point me to be at the mouth of the cave to guard them, lest they take themselves away. And the children of Israel did so. And Joshua called all Israel and said to the officers of battle, place your feet upon the necks of these kings. And Joshua said, so shall the Lord do to all your enemies. And Joshua commanded afterwards that they should slay the kings, cast them into the cave, and put great stones at the mouth of the cave. And Joshua went forward with all the people that were with him on that day to Makkedah, and he smote it with the edge of a sword, and he utterly destroyed the souls of all belonging to the city. And he did to the king and the people thereof as he had done to Jericho. And he passed from there to Libnah, and he fought against it, and the Lord delivered it into his hands. And Joshua smote it with the edge of a sword, and all the souls thereof, and he did to it as to the kings thereof, as he had done to Jericho. And from there he passed to Lachish, and fought against it, and Horam, king of Gaza, went up to assist the men of Lachish. Joshua smote him and his people until there was none left of him. And Joshua took Lachish and all the people thereof, and he did to it as he had done to Libnah. And Joshua pushed from there to Eglon, and he took that also, and he smote, and all the people thereof was the edge of a sword. And from there he passed to Hebron and fought against it, and he took it utterly destroyed it, and he returned from there with all Israel to Debris and fought against it and smote it with the edge of the sword. Okay, man. See, and he destroyed every soul in it, and he left none remaining. And he did to it and the king thereof as he had done to Jericho. And Joshua smote all the kings of the Amorites from Kadesh Barnea to Azza, and he took their country at once, for the Lord had fought for Israel. And Joshua with all Israel came to the camp of Gilgal, when at that time Jabin, king of Chazar, heard all that Joshua had done to the kings of the Amorites. Jabin sent to Jechobed, king of Midian, and to Laban, king of Shimron, and Jephthah, king of Asaph, and to all the kings of the Amorites, saying, come quickly to us, help us, that we may smite the children of Israel before they come up to us, and do unto us all they have done to the kings of the Amorites. And all the kings hearkened to the words of Jabin, king of Chazar, and they went forth with all their camps. 17 kings, and their people were as numerous as the sands of the sea shore. Therefore the horses and the chariots innumerable, and they came and pitched together at the waters of Merom, and they were met together to fight against Israel. And the Lord said unto Joshua, fight them not, for tomorrow about this time I will deliver them up, all slain before you. Thou shalt know their bones, and thou shalt hew their bones, and burn their chariots with fire. And Joshua with all the men of war came suddenly upon them and smote them, and they fell into their hands, and the Lord had delivered them into the hands of the children of Israel. So the children of Israel pursued all the kings with their camps, and smote them until there was none of them left. And Joshua did to them as the Lord had spoken to him. And Joshua returned at that time to Chazar, and smote it with a sword, and destroyed every soul in it, and burned it with fire. And from Chazar Joshua passed to Shimron, and smote it, and utterly destroyed it. And from there he passed to Ashcalon, and he did to it as he had done to Shimron. From there he passed to Abdullah, and he smote all the people in it. And he did to Ablon as he had done to Ashtar and Sharon. And he passed from them to all the cities of the kings which he had smitten. And he smote all the people that were left of them, and he utterly destroyed them. Only their bodies and their cattle and the Israelites took to themselves as prey. But every human being they smote, they suffered not a soul to live, as the Lord had commanded Moses. So did Joshua do, and all Israel, they fell not in anything. So Joshua and all the children of Israel smote the whole land of Canaan, as the Lord had commanded them, and smote all their kings, being 31 kings, and the children of Israel took their whole country. Besides the kingdoms of Shahan and Og, which are on the other side of Jordan, of which Moses had smitten many cities, and Moses gave them to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to the half tribe of Manasseh. And Joshua smote all the kings that were on this side of Jordan to the west, and gave them for an inheritance to the 9 tribes and to the half tribe of Israel. For 5 years did Joshua carry on war with these kings, and he gave them their cities. He gave their cities to the Israelites, and the land became tranquil from the battle throughout the cities of the Amorites and the Canaanites. So that was Song of Joshua. Anybody got any comments on anything they heard or read? I mean, or that they heard me read? Okay, everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Lord coming through again.
What's that?
I said, Lord coming through again, verse 42. And the Lord said to Joshua, fear them not, for tomorrow about this time I will deliver them up all slain before you. Thou shalt huff their horses and burn their chariots with fire.
Right.
Ain't that something?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go.
My name is Britta B, and the name of this poem is Dear Young Woman. Dear young woman, I hope you find you. I hope you find love. I see all the armor you wear. I see all the jewels and gems of wisdom you share. It's okay to shine, Ma. It's okay to shine. It's okay to have pride, Ma. You don't have to live a lie. Don't let the violence fool you into silence, convincing you that you are not worthy of space and time. You might not know it yet, but you got a multi-dimensional set of eyes looking out for you. Trust that what is meant for you is relying on you to show up. Show up. You can lose your religion, but you will never lose your spirit. Each of your breaths have minds and lives of their own. I doubt we'll ever know the true impact of our presence. But what a blessing. Young woman, I wish you enough. I wish you enough time for all of your skills and talents. I wish you more. I wish you more revelations than disrespects and regrets. And I beg you to believe yourself more than your parents ever did. Carry out your curiosities in spite of the corruptions you experience. You let yourself free when you let yourself forgive. And so when you do, and I know you will, I hope you find you. I hope you find love again. A word that comes to mind for this piece is empowerment. As a poet, I really want to serve as an encouraging voice through my work. And I want this poem to be a reminder that whatever you're going through as a woman, you have the choice to make for yourself on how gentle and kind you are with yourself. So I may be putting this out there as a message for people other than me, but it's also a reminder to myself to treat myself kindly and to be good to myself.
Okay. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna say shalom, and we'll be on Clubhouse tomorrow at 8 o'clock. It's Friday night Q&A session. Okay, so I'm gonna see everybody tomorrow at 8 o'clock on Clubhouse. Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay.
Everyone.